Emerging technologies, new threats, and global competition are reshaping the modern defense landscape. To meet the needs of today's defense missions, leaders are increasingly turning to data and technology. Here to talk about these trends with us today is Judi Dotson, President of the Global Defense Sector at Booz Allen Hamilton. Judi made GovCon history earlier this year when she took first place in Executive Mosaic's 2024 WASH 100 Popular Vote competition. If you enjoyed today's interview, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you'd like to be interviewed, email summer@executivemosaic.com. Hello, and welcome to Executive Mosaic's video interview series. I'm Summer Myatt, and here to speak with me today is Judi Dotson, President of the Global Defense Sector at Booz Allen Hamilton. Judi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Summer, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun watching this series, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to join in.
Of course. So, Judi, to set the scene for our conversation, can you talk about the threat environment that we're in right now? Tell us about some of the major global factors shaping the defense landscape today.
So, I'm sure all of us who watch the news are fully aware that the threat environment is very active. Obviously, multiple conflicts around the globe are driving the factors, right? The war between Ukraine and Russia, the active conflict in the Middle East. And then with respect to the PRC, we like to talk about it as a continuum from competition to conflict. And while we're not in full-blown conflict, we certainly are in competition, and that also drives a lot of the things that we think about as a country. So I've been in discussions about the evolving security landscape with my teams who are positioned around the world and who have the honor to work directly with DoD and support our troops. And what I hear from them, it won't be a surprise, cybersecurity remains a top concern, right? Increasing incidents of cyber attacks and data breaches, both from state-sponsored and independent hackers, really make protecting the digital infrastructure even more challenging. And I know we're going to talk about that today in terms of the importance of the digital infrastructure. Geopolitical tensions, which I already mentioned at the beginning, are dynamic and on the rise and certainly impact how we think about defense. And last but not least, the rapid advancement of technology. Technology is evolving so quickly, it's disrupting every industry. This isn't unique to defense. And the defense industry, as you know, has a rich history of being on the leading edge of world-changing technologies when you think about GPS and radar and more. And while defense continues to drive and be a leader, the technology industry is making great strides with the huge investments that they're putting into place. So taking advantage of all of that and bringing all that together is certainly a focus that we have heard loud and clear from the Department of Defense.
So, Judi, with this as the backdrop, why is technology and data so crucial for defense missions around the world?
Well, as things are rapidly changing, technology and data have become critically important for defense operations. They enable us to gather data, to gain situational awareness, and make informed decisions with the speed and accuracy that's required. So these tools allow for improved coordination, as you know, and collaboration among various branches of the military, as well as with allies and partners. So to bring it into perspective, let's just put this in the context of the Pacific Theater. As you know, it's enormous. It spans half the world, stretches across 4 time zones, and accounts for multiple island chains where we need to operate and coordinate as if it's not enormous. So technology is really key to facilitating communications among our troops and with our allies and partners. The expansive nature of any future fight requires that this key information from one service inform decisions and plans carried out by different services. And as you know, there's a lot of focus on that from our Department of Defense when we think about CJADSI-2 or the one fight that we all need to come together to win.
Judi, can you dive a little deeper into some of the most significant tech and data challenges that you're seeing?
I'll start with one that might surprise you because it's often associated with the opportunities, and that's artificial intelligence. Clearly, there is so much potential and absolute need for us to use artificial intelligence in our operations to achieve the scale that we need for both kinetic and non-kinetic capabilities. But to get there, to really take full advantage of AI and make sure that we are maximizing the benefit, there's work that needs to be done. Some of it's already started, but there's a lot more to do, and there's a lot of change around culture and the way things operate that needs to happen. Take, for example, the implementation of an AI capability. The first thing you need to be sure of is that you've got the data, right? The data answer the questions that you need to have answered. We know there's no shortage of data, but the ability to recognize what data needs to come together to meet that mission, that critical mission question, is something that it isn't always easy to do. You need to look at the timeliness of the data. You need to look at the frequency of the updates of the data so that you can ultimately make sure you're making decisions off of current information. Now, when I say you have to look at all that, it really takes a data literate workforce that understands and has a data mindset to take full advantage of that information. And this is a challenge. I'm not just talking about the Department of Defense here. The whole world is dealing with this in terms of how do we take full advantage of all of that rich information that's out there and bring it to the right point of decision. We term that data literacy from a workforce perspective. Within Booz Allen, we've put a lot of focus on making sure that our workforce is data literate, but that's a huge challenge when you think about all the people that need to come together to make AI solutions work. And then finally, the last piece is I mentioned at the beginning, there's a target-rich opportunity to implement AI. So it's a matter of identifying those opportunities that provide you the best return and prioritizing them to make sure you're taking full advantage of AI. The second challenge I'll highlight is around veracity of data. This is something that I think all of us worry about. I mean, deep fakes are terrifying, right? You want to be sure that you're working off real information and information that's current. And so our best cybersecurity expertise is needed to be able to manage that. And the potential for disinformation just feels like it's enormous. So we need to be sure that we have our hands around that. So I would say I would highlight that as the second big challenge.
Thank you. And can you talk about how government and industry can better collaborate to overcome some of the challenges we've talked about today?
Well, the good news is I would say we are collaborating, but we all agree that there's more to do, just given how fast everything is moving. I think that the National Defense Strategy had put out a framework that is very helpful for startups and other innovators to make, and makes it very clear that there's a whole of nation approach that's needed to be sure that we are working together to bring the best to our troops and to the best to the fight. I mean, one example is the Office of Strategic Capital to really help those companies that are developing critical technologies find the funding that they need. And I think that's gone a long, long way. So I would say overall, the message from DoD is clear. It's loud. Bring me your innovations. Now, in terms of barriers and the keys to success for doing this, I think there are three that come to mind. One is around clarifying urgency and speed. Urgent threats in regions are not yet translating to the level of speed necessary to really achieve the deterrence that we need to put in place. There's lots of good reasons for it. I mean, DoD is working hard to change this, as is industry, but we still have to deal with realities like rigid multi-year planning cycle, political consequences of failure. We know that if you really want to get to innovation, not everything's going to work, and sometimes things are going to fail. Today, if a leader fails, there can be serious consequences, maybe not the next promotion. Those are things that we need to work through. We need to be able to fail fast, and we need to be able to win together. And winning together means everybody coming together and bringing their best. And that isn't really the way we've been aligned historically, but it's certainly what we need going forward.
So, Judi, it sounds like there's a clear need for investment from industry to get more involved. How is Booz Allen making those investments?
We are committed to investing and contributing to the defense innovation ecosystem with partners, both large and small. And this commitment shaped our firm's strategy. We call our strategy VOLT. The V stands for velocity, L for leadership, T for technology. And our investments are all aligned to this strategy. The strategy puts emphasis on speed, on bringing mission expertise to develop the kind of solutions that are needed today, and to doing tech integration, looking across the entire ecosystem to find the right capabilities to help drive scale and capability for our warfighters. So I just mentioned earlier the need to win together. We're partnering differently because we see tremendous opportunity to integrate leading edge commercial capabilities, we call them dual use technologies, into federal government missions as part of what we're calling the last mile missionization. So what this means, the goal here is not to just create innovative technology, but to ensure it can operate securely at the tactical edge and fulfill the mission. So it's taking these technologies that are amazing, that have been invented by the industry, and bringing them together to solve some of the DoD's challenges. How are we finding these technologies? Well, we're leaning into mergers and acquisitions and looking across the entire industry to see if there's some capability that would make sense to integrate with what we do. We've recently completed the acquisition of PAR Government, and we're really excited about some of the capabilities that the way we can build on what they've put together. Tech scouting and corporate venture capital fund is another area where we've put focus. We have an entire team dedicated to scouting across the industry to look for those capabilities that we hear loud and clear that DoD needs. And then in those that are a little less mature, we've put together a corporate venture capital fund where we're investing in them to help them get over the line so that they can contribute to the whole of government, as DoD talks about. And then finally, from a partnership perspective, we always had the traditional partnerships that everyone around the Beltway has in terms of teaming, but in cases where it makes sense, we are co-investing with others and really trying to accelerate our ability to bring capabilities rather than build, instead take advantage of the technologies and the capabilities that we can bring together to get solutions faster.
And lastly, Judi, I know you were the winner of our 2024 WASH 100 popular vote competition. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you what it means to you to be a WASH 100 winner, and how it feels to have won the popular vote.
Well, no one's more surprised about that popular vote than me, but I feel honored. I want to thank anybody who went out and voted, whether you voted for me or somebody else. It's a lot of fun. The competition really got a lot of attention internally at Booz Allen. I want to also say thank you to my Booz Allen colleagues. They truly rallied behind both me and Steve Escaravage, who was also, I think he was in the top 5 as well. And so makes me proud that Booz Allen is standing behind us and really rallied for that. And what does it mean to be a WASH 100? Well, gosh, there's no place that I can think of that has a stronger set of leaders committed to a common set of missions. We feel so passionate about helping our warfighters, about helping our government. I look at the list and I am in such great company. It's really an honor just to be a part of it. So thank you, Summer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Judi, for your time today and for all the work you do at Booz Allen.
Thank you.